What's going on, everybody, and welcome to a review of the 2GB Jetson Nano. So, the 2GB Nano is actually the little brother to the 4GB Nano, the original one, which we also reviewed on this channel some time ago. The only significant difference is this has 2GB of RAM, this one has 4. The GPU is a 128-core Maxwell GPU, and that is the same on both devices. Also, both devices have, I believe, the exact same 4-core ARM CPU. The other differences that I could see by looking at least at specifications online is that the 4GB Nano apparently has 2 CSI connectors, but when I look at this board, I just see the one, so I don't know. I don't know if this is like an early board that I happened to get and they added another connector. I don't know. But I only see the one. I'm not really sure you need two. Two's kind of cool, I guess, so you could run like the 2 Raspberry Pi cameras and so on, but if you need more cameras, you can always use the USB ports. So yeah, so on this 4GB, again, there's just the one CSI connector that I can see. But again, that's all you really need, I think. The other difference is this board is actually powered by USB-C. It does still have the micro there. And also there's, I think, 1 fewer USB ports, yeah. This one also, the 4GB has a display port. I don't see that here. This one just has HDMI. Again, I don't think that's a big deal at all. I think most projects aren't going to need that, and if you desperately need a DisplayPort, I think you could just use an HDMI to DisplayPort converter. I don't know. So I don't really think it was necessary. So it's kind of cool that what they've done here, or really all they've done, is kept that same powerhouse, that 128-core Maxwell core GPU, and instead just trimmed away some more things to the dev kit to make it more affordable to people. So this was $99, and this one is $59. And to be honest, $59 for that 128-core Maxwell core GPU, that's pretty cool. I mean, Maxwell core, kind of old architecture, but still quite powerful enough to do things like object detection and so on. And so actually what we did when we got the 4GB board was do object detection with a USB camera on the board, just to see what kind of specs could we get, or what kind of frames per second, basically, as a metric. And then I tested that same exact thing, the exact same program, on the 2GB Nano, and unsurprisingly got basically identical results. Obviously, again, the only kind of performance downgrade that we get here is the RAM. Now, 2GB of RAM it's tight. I'm not going to lie there, but still, in practice, at least with the one test that we ran, it still produced identical results. Obviously, you can also use swap, which I had to do to build some packages on this device, but I also had to use swap on the 4GB Nano. So honestly, at least for me, it hasn't made a big difference. But again, I just know in my head that 2 gigs of RAM is tight. So the board's actually pretty impressive. The only gripe I have is actually the same gripe I had with the 4GB Nano, which is the heatsink. So I recognize with the GPU, I kind of think, especially this GPU, I think it's required that they send it with a heatsink. I recognize they've sent it with a heatsink. Thank you, NVIDIA. But recently, I reviewed the Xavier NX dev kit. So this is one of the more pricey dev kits. This one's like, I want to say 384 core. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's Pascal. And I think it had 384 core CUDA cores, and then like 40 something tensor cores. I can't remember perfectly. Definitely a more pricey device, so cool, it gets a nicer heatsink, but I can't imagine the heatsink and fan combination is too expensive. Again, I recognize that this is supposed to be a trimmed down device. I respect that. I like that goal of getting cheaper devices, especially deep learning devices. You literally can do deep learning on this device. It's a $59 device. You can do deep learning out of the box, but you can only do deep learning out of the box for about 10 minutes before this device will overheat. Now, on the 4GB Nano, I actually wound up basically it overheated, and then I don't know, it just shut off, and it turned out the SD card got corrupted. I had to redo everything. At least on this device, it it just displayed this message that it was throttling, and everything else, it was like okay. but that's not good for the hardware. So I wish that they would send it with one of these kind of heatsink and fan combos, because this works very well actually. This device stays within a decent range of temperatures, whereas this device simply does not. You can't use this dev kit without a fan, and you can't even dev on it without a fan. And I think that's kind of a problem. So I recognize, if you use it in a project, you would just add a fan to it and blah blah blah. But I think that's the one thing I would change. Just add a fan. Just can't be that bad, especially because they're adding. People were wanting Wi-Fi on the board, and there is no built-in Wi-Fi, but apparently they're sending these out with Wi-Fi dongles to everybody. And in my opinion, rather than the Wi-Fi dongle, send the fan. We don't actually need, not every project will need Wi-Fi. Like for me, at least in my use case, I recognize I'm not everybody, but I just plug in the cable and I SSH to the device. It's really simple. And then if I need Wi-Fi, well, yeah, I've got Wi-Fi dongles all over the place. So if you needed Wi-Fi, you could add it, but not everybody will need the Wi-Fi dongle. Everyone will need the fan. So anyway, I do wish they added the fan, but other than that, I think everything, I think this board is really cool. I hope NVIDIA continues, obviously, to make, cool, powerful dev boards like this one, also the super high-end GPUs, but I also kind of like that NVIDIA is, what I would think now is kind of targeting the smaller kind of truly edge devices that pretty much almost everyone can afford to kind of tinker with and play with. I think that's really cool, and bringing AI to these kind of like smaller, cheaper boards like the Raspberry Pi. Only good things can come from that. Getting that in the hands of as many people as possible, I think only good things can come. So I really like that. Like I said, my only complaint, get a fan on there. I hope the next one I review has the fan. I was so excited when I saw this one. I don't know how much it adds to the cost, and this one's actually kind of really nice. Maybe you can make a cheaper version of it or something. I don't know. Anyway, really like it. I'll put a link to NVIDIA's page for this in the description. You can get it off of Amazon and like all the other places. It is currently, I believe, still in pre-order. They ship late October, so I don't even think we have an exact date yet. But anyway, pretty cool technology. I'm really happy with it. I got to come up with, I have some small projects I'd like to do as we complete the Neural Networks from Scratch book. I've got some small projects, and I'd like to kind of put these little dev boards more to use. So maybe we'll see more of these, especially this one. I feel like it's a sin to not be using this awesome board right here. So so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some content on this. If you've got some ideas that of projects that you'd like to see with this, let me know. But I definitely have some ideas whizzing around in my head. So anyway, that's all for now. Again, like I said, the board releases in late October for $59, which in my opinion is a steal. Just have a fan. You literally could just like put it on a stationary fan or something. Just have a fan. But yeah, pretty cool. And that's all for now. Till next time.